Cobb County police are trying to find out who killed a 22-year-old Austell woman and set her car on fire.
The family of Beauty Couch is just devastated tonight.
They hurt my baby so bad. My baby didn't deserve this. My baby was a good baby.
What leads love to turn into betrayal? How can a life filled with hope and joy conclude in such devastating silence and destruction? These troubling questions surround the tragic demise of 22-year-old Beauty Couch, whose life was tragically cut short under harrowing circumstances. Known for her prowess on roller skates, Beauty captured the hearts of over 150,000 Instagram followers and 104,000 TikTok fans with her infectious charisma and positivity. Recently, however, a grim discovery was made when her charred car was located on a desolate plot in Ale, Georgia. Shortly after, her brutally murdered body was found nearby, igniting a wave of grief and raising numerous questions. What led to this horrifying end? Who could be responsible for such a crime? What secrets might have been concealed behind the cheerful facade she presented online? Follow us as we delve into the mysterious and sorrowful story of Beauty Couch, a tale entangled with themes of love, deception, and betrayal. In this video, we will explore the final hours of Beauty's life, examine the clues that led authorities to a suspect, and hear the heart-wrenching pleas for justice from her family. But there is more to this case than initially meets the eye. Who truly committed this crime? What motivated their heinous actions? How quickly were the connections made by investigators? Continue watching as we investigate the intricate details of this tragic case. Welcome to our channel, focused on true crime stories. Support us by subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you never miss our newest uploads. Nestled in the heart of the American South, Ale, Georgia, exudes the charm of bygone days mixed with the warmth of modern Southern hospitality. This small town, draped in weeping willows and bordered by the lazy flows of the Savannah River, boasts a community where traditions are revered and newcomers are welcomed with a pie and a smile. Its historic downtown, with brick-lined streets and antique lampposts, hosts a variety of family-owned shops, a decades-old diner, and the old movie theater that still plays classic films every Friday night. Life in AL revolves around the community. High school football games on Fridays, church potlucks on Sundays, and the annual 4th of July parade that everyone, young and old, looks forward to all year. Neighbors are more like family, ready to lend a helping hand or a listening ear, making it the perfect nurturing ground for a young talent like Beauty Couch. Isabella Beauty Couch was born on a sunny spring morning to Michael and Susan Couch. The youngest of 3 siblings, she was the unexpected joy of the family, arriving several years after her brothers. Michael, a local entrepreneur, ran the town's hardware store, a place that had been in his family for generations. Susan spent her days shaping young minds as a teacher at the local elementary school. Together, they created a loving, stable home filled with laughter and encouragement. Beauty took her first steps in the family's modest living room, but it was on the smooth surface of the old wooden floor of Ale's roller rink where she truly found her footing. Her father, who had been a collegiate ice hockey player, introduced Beauty to skating almost as soon as she could walk. By the age of 4, she was a regular at the rink, her tiny skates gliding across the floor with a grace that belied her age. As she grew, so did her passion for roller skating. It wasn't just a pastime. It was a way for her to express herself, to feel free and unencumbered by the world's expectation. Her innate talent was apparent to anyone who watched her dance across the rink, her routines a mesmerizing blend of athleticism and artistry. By the time she was 10, She was competing and winning regional competitions, earning trophies that lined the shelves of her room, each one a testament to her dedication and skill. Her adolescence marked a pivotal turn in her journey. The rise of social media offered a new stage for beauty, one far broader than the rink of ale. With encouragement from her tech-savvy older brother, she uploaded her first video, a simple, heartfelt performance of her latest routine. To her surprise, the video captured the hearts of viewers far beyond the borders of Georgia. Comments flooded in, praising her talent and infectious enthusiasm. Motivated by the response, Beauty embraced the digital world with vigor, her social media platforms becoming a window into her life and craft. As her online presence grew, so did the complexities of living a life in the spotlight. Balancing high school with increasing demands for content and appearances was challenging, yet Beauty handled it with a maturity that impressed all who knew her. She remained committed to her community, her success never overshadowing her roots or her inherent desire to give back. But as the shadows of fame began to stretch into her personal world, Beauty found herself at a crossroads, caught between the comfort of her small-town life and the allure of a future filled with possibilities. The impending National Skating Championships presented a golden opportunity, but also a daunting challenge, as she prepared to step out from the warm embrace of ale into the glaring lights of the broader world. The journey from local talent to national sensation is rarely straightforward, and for Beauty Couch, it was a whirlwind that began with a single video clip. The local roller rink had been her stage for years, but it was about to become the backdrop for a viral sensation that would catapult her into the spotlight. It was the summer of her 15th birthday when Beauty decided to enter an online roller skating competition. The contest was simple. Submit a video of your best routine, share it on social media, and the clips with the most likes and shares would win. With the help of her older brother, who had a knack for videography, Beauty choreographed a routine that was both technically complex and visually stunning. Set to a lively pop track, her performance was flawless, her joy and passion for skating palpable in every spin and jump. Her brother uploaded the video to YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, tagging it with catchy hashtags and sharing it across various online skating forums. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Within a week, the video had amassed thousands of views and shares, not just from fans of roller skating, but from people captivated by her skill and charisma. Comments ranged from enthusiastic praise to inquiries about where she trained and who she was. Buoyed by the success of her first viral video, Beauty and her brother began to craft a strategic approach to her social media presence. They recognized the potential of her online platform, not only to showcase her skating skills, but also to build a brand that could open doors to new opportunities. They decided to post regularly, mixing high-quality performance videos with behind-the-scenes content that highlighted her training regimen, competition journeys, and daily life as a teenager in Ale. Instagram became her primary channel, where she shared beautifully curated photos and videos that emphasized her youthful energy and authentic personality. TikTok followed, where she posted more spontaneous and playful content, often involving her family and friends. YouTube remained the home for her longer form content, including detailed vlogs from competitions, personal milestones, and tutorials, which helped build a deeper connection with her audience. As her follower count soared into the hundreds of thousands, brands took notice. Initially, local businesses like the sports shop that supplied her skating gear offered sponsorships, providing her with equipment in exchange for promotion on her channels. Soon, national brands began to reach out, eager to align themselves with her wholesome image and growing popularity. These partnerships were carefully chosen. Beauty and her family were adamant that any collaboration must align with her values and not detract from her focus on skating. Her influence extended beyond commercial success. Young, aspiring skaters started looking up to her, and she received countless messages from fans, sharing how she had inspired them to start skating. Schools and community centers invited her to speak and demonstrate her skills, further cementing her role as a positive role model. However, with increased fame came new challenges. The line between her public persona and private life blurred, creating pressures that were hard to navigate. Her schooling and personal relationships were strained under the weight of her commitments. Despite this, Beauty remained grounded, her family and close-knit community providing the support she needed to manage her burgeoning career. By the time the National Skating Championships were on the horizon, Beauty Couch was not just a competitor. She was a headline attraction. The championships promised to be the culmination of her hard work and the springboard to an even greater level of fame. As she prepared for what could be the biggest event of her young life, Beauty was mindful of the balance she needed to maintain between her ambitions and her well-being, a balance that would be tested in ways she had never anticipated. As Beauty Couch's social media footprint expanded, so too did the complexities of her newfound fame. What once felt like an exciting adventure into the world of online celebrity soon presented a series of challenges that tested her resilience, impacted her personal life, and reshaped her understanding of privacy and public persona. Beauty quickly learned that with widespread recognition came a multitude of pressures that were not apparent when she first embarked on her journey to stardom. The expectation to consistently produce content that was both high quality and engaging began to weigh on her. Each post was no longer just an expression of her passion for skating, but a calculated move designed to maintain her relevance and appeal in the fast-paced world of social media. The pressure to innovate and remain at the forefront of her audience's mind meant that her schedule became increasingly packed. Between training for competitions, attending school, and fulfilling sponsorship obligations, Beauty found herself with little time for relaxation or spontaneous fun. Her days were meticulously planned, from early morning workouts to late-night editing sessions for her next video release. One of the brighter sides of her popularity was the interaction with fans. Beauty was known for her genuine engagement with her followers, often spending hours responding to comments and messages. She held live Q&A sessions, shared insights into her training routines, and even featured fan-created content on her platforms. This approach helped foster a loyal community around her, who were eager to support her in every competition and endeavor. However, as her fan base grew, so did the intensity and sometimes invasiveness of the attention. During public appearances, Beauty had to navigate crowds where everyone wanted a moment with her, a picture or an autograph. While she appreciated the love and support, the lack of personal space and constant public scrutiny began to feel overwhelming. With a larger audience also came increased scrutiny and criticism. Beauty encountered her share of negative comments and online trolls who would critique everything from her skating technique to her appearance. Initially, these comments were hurtful, leaving her to question her self-worth and wonder if she should change to please her critics. Over time, with the support of her family and close friends, Beauty developed a thicker skin and strategies to manage online negativity. She learned to focus on constructive criticism and ignore malicious comments. Her brother, who helped manage her social media, would often filter out the most egregious remarks to shield her from unnecessary harm. Perhaps the most significant impact of her fame was on her personal life. Maintaining friendships became a challenge as Beauty's schedule left little room for casual social outings. Her old friends struggled to understand the demands of her new life, and she found it difficult to forge new friendships with people who didn't see her as just a celebrity. Her family felt the strain as well. They were incredibly proud of her achievements, but were also concerned about the toll her career was taking on her mental and emotional health. Family dinners, once a daily ritual of connection and grounding, became less frequent, often disrupted by her travel schedule or media commitments. As the National Skating Championships approached, Beauty felt the culmination of these pressures more acutely than ever. She knew that her performance there could catapult her to even greater heights. But at what cost? As she prepared for the event that had the potential to define her career, Beauty began to contemplate the true price of fame and whether the path she was on was leading her towards fulfillment or away from it. This introspective journey was necessary for Beauty to understand and articulate her boundaries and expectations for her future, both as a public figure and a young woman navigating the complexities of adulthood. As Beauty Couch's star continued to rise, the shadow it cast grew darker and more complex. The early signs of trouble were subtle, often dismissed as the cost of fame. However, these signs began to coalesce into a more ominous pattern, particularly with the emergence of a mysterious follower whose admiration bordered on obsession. It started innocuously enough, a series of enthusiastic comments on Beauty's social media posts. The user, going by the handle Unsolved 123, praised her performances with a fervor that stood out even among her most dedicated fans. Initially, Beauty appreciated the support, as she did with all her followers. However, the comments became increasingly personal. Skate Admire 123 seemed to notice even the smallest details about her routines and appearances, commenting on everything from the way her hair was styled to the specific brands of her skating gear. As weeks turned into months, the follower began sending direct messages. At first, they were just more praises and well-wishes, but gradually the tone shifted. The messages took on a demanding quality, with Skate Admire 123 asking for responses and expressing disappointment when Beauty didn't engage. When Beauty did not reply to one particularly long message, the next was filled with veiled threats masked as concern, suggesting that Beauty owed them attention for their devotion. Concerned, Beauty mentioned the messages to her brother, who managed her social media accounts. He advised her to block the user, but when they did, new accounts popped up, each more insistent than the last. The situation escalated to the point where Skate Admire 123 started showing up in the background of photos taken at public events, always just at the edge of the crowd. The ongoing issue with the obsessive follower was just one facet of the unraveling tapestry of Beauty's personal life. As her commitments increased, so did the strain on her relationships with family and friends. Her parents noticed her growing distraction and fatigue, concerned that she was losing her zest for life amid the relentless demands of her burgeoning career. They missed their cheerful daughter, who now seemed perpetually burdened and preoccupied. Her friends felt a growing distance as well. The spontaneous outings and sleepovers that had defined their friendships were replaced by brief meetups squeezed between practices and promotional events. When Beauty did manage to find time to spend with them, she was often distracted, her phone a constant presence as she monitored social media responses or coordinated with her agent. This distancing was particularly hard on her closest friend, Maya, who had been by Beauty's side since elementary school. Mia tried to be understanding, but she couldn't help feeling sidelined, a secondary consideration in Beauty's busy life. Conversations they once shared about dreams and fears were now dominated by Beauty's career moves and the pressures of fame. The cumulative effect of the mysterious follower's obsession and the strain on her personal relationships brought Beauty to a tipping point. The excitement and pride that once accompanied her achievements were overshadowed by anxiety and a profound sense of isolation. The world she had so eagerly embraced seemed to close in around her, each day presenting new challenges to her peace of mind. As the National Skating Championships drew nearer, Beauty found herself at a crossroads. The event was meant to be the highlight of her career, a chance to shine on a national stage. Yet, the darker aspects of her fame threatened to overshadow her hard work. It was becoming increasingly clear that something had to change, but the path forward was fraught with uncertainty. Beauty knew she needed to reclaim her life and sense of security before her moment in the spotlight turned into a public unraveling. The day Beauty Couch disappeared was, at first glance, like any other busy day in her escalating career. It was filled with the usual blend of preparation, performance, and social media engagement. However, as the hours unfolded, what began as a typical day spiraled into a sequence of events that left her community and fans across the nation in shock. The morning was crisp and clear, a typical autumn day in IL, Georgia. Beauty had scheduled an early video shoot at the local roller rink, her favorite spot, not just for its nostalgic value, but for the natural light that flooded the wooden floor in the early hours, creating the perfect filming condition. 7:30 am. Beauty arrived at the rink. She was accompanied by her brother, who also served as her cameraman and general manager. They were met by a small crew consisting of a makeup artist, a local freelance photographer, and two of her closest skating friends, who often appeared in her videos for duo and group routines. 8:00 am. Filming began with Beauty performing a new routine she had choreographed specifically for the upcoming National Skating Championships. The routine was more complex than usual, incorporating elements she had never attempted in competition. 12:00 p.m. After several hours of filming, Beauty and her crew took a break at a nearby cafe. They were a regular fixture here, and the staff knew their orders by heart. It was during this break that Beauty last used her social media accounts, posting a behind-the-scenes photo of the morning shoot with a caption expressing her excitement for the upcoming competition. 1:00 p.m. The group returned to the rink for a final session. Beauty decided to run through her routine one last time. Witnesses at the rink noted nothing unusual about her demeanor. She was focused, perhaps a bit more quiet than usual, but entirely engaged in her practice. 3:00 p.m. The last clear sighting of Beauty was by the freelance photographer, who left the rink shortly after taking a series of still shots of Beauty practicing her final moves. He noted that she was in good spirits and discussed plans for another shoot the following week. 4:00 p.m. Beauty's brother, who had stepped out to take a call, returned to find the rink strangely quiet. Beauty was nowhere to be seen. Her personal belongings, including her phone, were found in the changing room, neatly piled beside her street shoes. 5:00 p.m. After searching the immediate area and calling her friends and family, Beauty's brother called the local police to report her missing. The quick escalation from a routine day to a potential missing person case prompted an immediate response from local law enforcement. 6:00 p.m. As news of her disappearance spread, friends and community members gathered at the rink. The local police, along with a few volunteers, began a more thorough search of the area. They interviewed people who had been at the rink throughout the day, gathering as much information as possible. 8:00 p.m. The local news media caught wind of the situation, and by nightfall, the story of Beauty's disappearance was beginning to make headlines. The community was in disbelief, and an impromptu vigil was organized outside the rink, with people bringing candles and flowers. The disappearance of Beauty Couch shook the core of Ale, a community unaccustomed to such mysteries. The immediate and heartfelt response highlighted not only Beauty's impact on her hometown, but also the collective fear and concern for her safety. As the night progressed, the police worked tirelessly, piecing together the events of the day, hoping for any lead that would bring Beauty back home safely. The disappearance of Beauty Couch transitioned from a distressing mystery to a tragic discovery that would forever alter the fabric of AL, Georgia. What began as a community-wide search soon led to findings that deepened the sorrow and launched a complex investigation. Early morning, following day. The sun had not yet risen when a local farmer, taking his usual route to market, noticed an unusual glow emanating from a rarely used logging road. Approaching cautiously, he discovered a horrifying scene. Beauty's car, easily recognizable by its distinctive decals, engulfed in flames. He immediately called 911, his hands shaking as he relayed what he had found. 6:30 am. Firefighters arrived quickly, dousing the flames that had reduced the vehicle to a charred shell. Once the fire was extinguished, the scene revealed little that could immediately explain Beauty's disappearance or the reason behind the fire. The car appeared to have been deliberately set ablaze, with preliminary observations suggesting the use of an accelerant. No immediate signs of Beauty or any other person were evident at the scene. Late morning, as the investigation into the car fire continued, a search party consisting of local police, volunteers, and 2 trained search dogs expanded the search area into the nearby woods, known for their dense undergrowth and seldom traveled paths. 11:15 am. One of the search dogs alerted its handler to a small clearing, less than a half-mile from the burned-out car. It was there that the searchers made a grim discovery. The body of Beauty Couch, partially hidden under a fallen tree branch. The scene was immediately cordoned off, and all non-law enforcement personnel were asked to leave the area. The news of the discovery spread quickly through the community, turning the atmosphere from one of anxious hope to one of mourning and disbelief. Beauty, known and loved by so many, had met a tragic end, and the community struggled to comprehend the brutality of the events. Outside the local police station, a crowd gathered, seeking information and solace in equal measure. Local church leaders held impromptu prayer sessions on the sidewalks, while others simply stood in silent disbelief. The sense of loss was palpable, and the need for answers grew with every passing moment. The Yale Police Department, assisted by the State Bureau of Investigation, took charge of the case. The area where Beauty's body was found was thoroughly examined by crime scene investigators who collected all potential evidence, including tire tracks, footprints, and any materials that could suggest the presence of the perpetrator at the scene. The car was towed to a secure location for a more detailed forensic examination. Investigators hoped that the vehicle, despite the damage, might yield clues about the perpetrator or the events leading up to Beauty's death. Given the circumstances, the case was treated as a homicide, with the full resources of local and state law enforcement deployed in the pursuit of justice. The police chief held a press conference, urging anyone with information to come forward and reassuring the public that all efforts were being made to solve the case quickly and bring the perpetrator to justice. Local media covered the story extensively, broadcasting updates and interviews with law enforcement and community members alike. As the initial shock began to settle, the community of Ale, bound by grief and fortified by a shared sense of purpose, rallied to support Beauty's family and one another. The investigation into Beauty's death was just beginning, with law enforcement vowing to solve the mystery of her tragic disappearance and murder. The days ahead would prove critical in piecing together the final hours of Beauty's life and identifying those responsible for her untimely death. The investigation into Beauty Couch's tragic death was led by Detective Lana Brooks, a seasoned investigator known for her meticulous approach and commitment to justice. Her reputation for handling high-profile cases with discretion and determination made her the ideal choice for a case that had already captured the public's attention and emotions. The initial examination of Beauty's burned-out car provided the first set of clues. Despite the damage, forensic technicians were able to recover fragments of what appeared to be an accelerant, suggesting arson. The pattern of the burn indicated that the fire started in the driver's seat and spread quickly, an unusual pattern that hinted at a deliberate act. The autopsy of Beauty's body was conducted with urgency. It revealed that she had died from multiple stab wounds before the fire was set. This critical piece of information shifted the focus of the investigation towards searching for a weapon and any DNA evidence that could be recovered from her clothing or under her fingernails. At the scene where Beauty's body was found, the team collected numerous items for analysis, including tire tracks near the clearing that did not match Beauty's car, suggesting another vehicle was involved. Footprints leading away from the scene were also catalogued and cast for further examination. Detective Brooks directed a team to comb through Beauty's social media accounts and her digital communications. This was a treasure trove of information, revealing patterns, frequent contacts, and, crucially, several interactions with individuals who displayed unusually intense interest in Beauty's activities. And interviews were conducted with family, friends, acquaintances, and witnesses who last saw Beauty or who were present at the locations she visited on the day of her disappearance. Each interview was meticulously documented, looking for inconsistencies or potential leads. As the investigation unfolded, several potential suspects emerged, each with varying motives and opportunities to harm Beauty. Beauty had maintained friendly relationships with most of her ex-boyfriends, but one recent breakup had been particularly acrimonious. The ex-boyfriend was questioned, revealing jealousy and unresolved feelings. His alibi for the time of Beauty's disappearance was shaky, placing him near the top of the suspect list. The competitive nature of roller skating had brought Beauty into occasional conflict with rivals. While most were professional in their conduct, one rival had expressed resentment towards Beauty's rapid rise in the sport. However, further investigation provided her with a solid alibi, diminishing her likelihood as a suspect. Skate admirer Roan, 123, previously flagged by Beauty's brother, emerged as a significant person of interest. Detective Brooks discovered that the user had tried to contact Beauty multiple times through different accounts after being blocked. Efforts to trace the user's real identity intensified, as this follower had both motive and a disturbing level of interest in Beauty's personal life. Each suspect's motive was analyzed against their opportunity to commit the crime. Detective Brooks and her team created a timeline of Beauty's last day, cross-referencing it with each suspect's known whereabouts. Digital evidence such as messages and emails was scrutinized to understand the nature of their relationships with Beauty. As Detective Brooks pieced together the puzzle, the complexity of the case grew. Each lead opened new avenues of inquiry, and each piece of evidence added layers to the suspects' profiles. The community's desire for quick answers was balanced against the need for a thorough investigation, ensuring that when an arrest was made, it was supported by irrefutable evidence. The resolution of the case hinged on meticulous police work, cutting-edge forensic analysis, and a deep understanding of human motives, elements that Detective Brooks was well equipped to handle. As the investigation into Beauty Couch's murder stretched on, public patience thinned and the pressure mounted on Detective Lana Brooks and her team to solve the case. Amidst the complex web of evidence and the array of suspects, it was a singular critical piece of evidence that would pivot the direction of the investigation and lead to a significant breakthrough. The turning point came unexpectedly from the digital forensics team. They had been meticulously combing through Beauty's electronic devices and online accounts, an arduous task given the volume of content and communication she managed. It was during a detailed review of her cloud storage data, previously overlooked, that investigators found a series of voice memos Beauty had recorded. Most were mundane, notes to herself about routines or ideas for social media posts. However, one memo stood out starkly. In this particular recording, made just days before her disappearance, Beauty sounded distressed. She mentioned feeling increasingly unsafe due to someone following her at various events. Crucially, she named Eskatedmyra Roan 123, the handle of her obsessed fan, expressing concern over receiving threatening messages after blocking the account. This voice memo shifted the focus sharply onto Eskatedmyra Roan 123. With this direct mention, the cyber investigation team intensified efforts to track down the real identity behind the pseudonym. Utilizing advanced tracing techniques and through cooperation with social media platforms, they were able to link the account to an IP address belonging to Evan Darcy, a name not previously on their radar. Evan Darcy was a local freelance graphic designer known in the community, but had never directly interacted with Beauty in any way that raised suspicions. Armed with this new information, Detective Brooks sought and received a warrant to search Darcy's residence. The search yielded further incriminating evidence: multiple photographs of Beauty, detailed notes about her schedule, and even some of her personal belongings that had gone missing over the past few months. Confronted with the mounting evidence, Darcy attempted to flee. Detectives learned he had booked a last-minute flight out of the nearest international airport. Coordinating with federal agents and airport security, Detective Brooks orchestrated a swift apprehension at the airport, just as Darcy was attempting to clear security. Darcy was arrested without incident and brought in for questioning. The interrogation was intense, with Darcy initially denying all accusations. However, faced with the overwhelming evidence, including the voice memo from Beauty and the items found in his home, he eventually confessed to his obsession with Beauty and to the actions leading up to her tragic murder. This breakthrough not only marked a turning point in the investigation, but also brought a mixture of relief and profound sadness to the community and Beauty's family. The realization that someone from within their own community could have harbored such malevolence was chilling. Detective Brooks's methodical approach and the diligent work of her team had paid off, culminating in the capture and charging of Evan Darcy. However, the resolution of the case was bittersweet, as it brought closure to the case, but could not undo the tragedy of Beauty's loss. The focus of the investigation shifted towards preparing for the trial, ensuring that justice would be served for Beauty Couch, whose life had been so cruelly and prematurely ended. The arrest of Evan Darcy marked the end of one chapter in the tragic story of Beauty Couch and the beginning of another. As the community of Ale, Georgia, braced for the trial, there was a palpable mix of anticipation and anxiety. The legal proceedings were set to not only bring justice to Beauty, but also to showcase the stark reality of the dangers lurking within seemingly benign obsession. The trial of Evan Darcy commenced in a tense atmosphere. The local courthouse was filled to capacity each day, with members of the community, media representatives, and family members of both Beauty and Darcy in attendance. The prosecution, led by District Attorney Helen Carter, presented a robust case. They outlined Darcy's obsession with Beauty, his escalating behavior from adoration to stalking, and the overwhelming evidence collected from his residence and digital footprints. Evidence presented included the voice memo recorded by Beauty, where she expressed fear about Darcy's behavior, served as a powerful piece of evidence, highlighting the impact of Darcy's actions on her mental state. Forensic evidence linking materials found in Darcy's home to the crime scene, including DNA traces and items belonging to Beauty, was presented meticulously. Digital evidence of Darcy's multiple social media accounts and his interactions with Beauty painted a clear picture of his obsession and his refusal to accept her attempts to distance herself. Witnesses such as family members and friends of Beauty testified about the changes in her behavior due to Darcy's harassment, her fear of being followed, and her diminishing sense of security. Experts in digital forensics and psychology provided insights into the nature of stalking and its deadly potential, reinforcing the severity of Darcy's actions. After weeks of intense proceedings, the case was handed over to the jury. Deliberation lasted for 2 days, reflecting the complexity of the case and the seriousness with which the jury approached their duties. Finally, the jury returned with a verdict. Evan Darcy was found guilty on all counts, including first-degree murder and arson. The verdict brought a collective sigh of relief from the community and a profound sense of sorrow for the loss of a beloved figure. People gathered outside the courthouse, some in tears, others in quiet reflection, as they processed the outcome and its implications. The community held a candlelight vigil the evening after the verdict, not only to remember Beauty, but to stand in solidarity against violence and obsession that had shattered their peace. For Beauty's family, the verdict brought closure to the agonizing uncertainty of the trial, but it was also a stark reminder of their irrevocable loss. They expressed gratitude towards the law enforcement officials, the prosecution team, and the community for their support throughout the ordeal. In a statement to the media, Beauty's mother conveyed a poignant message about the importance of taking stalking and harassment seriously, urging others to seek help at the first signs of such behavior. The trial of Evan Darcy had a lasting impact on the community of Ale and beyond. It sparked discussions about online safety, the responsibilities of social media platforms in protecting users, and the need for more stringent laws against stalking and harassment. In Beauty's memory, her family set up a foundation dedicated to raising awareness about online safety and providing resources for victims of stalking. Though the legal chapter had closed with Darcy's conviction, the story of Beauty Couch continued to resonate. It served as a somber reminder of the fragility of life and the shadows that can lurk behind the screen. Her legacy, carried forward by her family and the community, aimed to transform tragedy into a beacon of awareness and change, ensuring that her vibrant spirit continued to inspire action against the darkness that had ended her life. The tragic death of Beauty Couch became a catalyst for change within the community of Ale, Georgia, and beyond, bringing to light the profound impacts of social media on safety and mental health. In the wake of her passing, initiatives began to take shape, aiming to protect young influencers and educate the public about the hidden dangers of online platforms. Beauty's untimely death raised critical awareness about the necessity of implementing stronger measures to ensure the safety of individuals in the digital realm. Schools, local government bodies, and community centers started hosting seminars and workshops focusing on digital safety, cyberbullying, and the importance of mental health. Experts in psychology, social media, and law enforcement were brought in to provide education and resources to help individuals navigate the complexities of online interactions safely. In her name, Beauty's family, with the support of the community, established the Beauty Couch Foundation for Online Safety. This foundation worked to create a network of support for young influencers, providing them with resources to manage online harassment and guidance on maintaining privacy and security. The foundation also lobbied for legislative changes, advocating for stricter penalties for cyber harassment and more robust protection measures from social media platforms. For Beauty's family and friends, the journey of healing was laden with sorrow, but also with moments of profound connection and support. The community rallied around them, providing comfort and solidarity. Memorial services held in Beauty's honor were attended by hundreds, including young people from all over the country whose lives she had touched through her online presence. These events served not only as a tribute to her life, but also as a public affirmation of the community's commitment to ensuring no such loss would occur in vain. Beauty's legacy was preserved through various channels. Documentaries detailing her life, the circumstances of her tragic death, and the ensuing changes in community and online safety policies were produced, serving as educational tools and tributes to her impact. Her social media accounts were maintained as a memorial by her brother, turning them into platforms for advocacy about online safety and mental health awareness. Beauty Couch's story resonated far beyond the borders of Ale, impacting the wider community and sparking national and international dialogues about the nature of fame in the digital age. Her life and death highlighted the vulnerabilities inherent in public visibility and the often overlooked mental health challenges that can accompany online fame. Reflections on her life led to a broader discussion about the need for compassion and vigilance in the digital world. Her story urged a re-evaluation of how society perceives and interacts with public figures, emphasizing the humanity behind the screens. In closing, Beauty Couch's legacy is a reminder of the enduring strength of the human spirit. It challenges each individual to foster a digital world that prioritizes safety, respect, and empathy, ensuring that the connectivity brought by technology serves to uplift rather than undermine. Her life, though tragically cut short, continues to echo through the actions taken in her name, ensuring that her light continues to guide the way toward a kinder, safer digital future. Please join us in honoring Beauty Couch's legacy by subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us continue to raise awareness about online safety and mental health. Subscribe and help us make a difference in the digital world, ensuring a safer environment for all. Thank you for your support.